Welcome to the Hey Docs podcast with your host, Jill Allen. In this two-part episode, I am joined by Dr. Madeleine Goodman, an orthodontist, startup owner, and a national leader in sustainability within the profession. Dr. Goodman is the founder of Harmony Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics, past president of MESO, and chair of the AAO's Sustainability Committee. She's here to share her startup journey as a dual specialty and early airway intervention practice, along with how she's focused her practice on bringing environmental sustainability into the ortho world. Change doesn't have to be complicated, it just takes commitment. Let's dive in to part two. This episode was brought to you by Gray Finch. Hey docs, if you want to have a great business, the right practice management software is essential. But some can be slow, outdated, and lacking good support. That's why I recommend Gray Finch to all orthodontists. It's the fastest, most reliable, and most secure platform to grow your business and improve your efficiency. It's completely web-based, so you can run your entire practice anywhere and from any device with no servers, no downloads, or hidden fees. They even have the most helpful and responsive support team around. Right now, Gray Finch is giving a $500 discount to our listeners. Visit grayfinch.com/Jill Allen to learn more and see why it's one of the fastest growing providers in America. I want to switch gears a little bit because you've got so much information and we've got such a small amount of time. But one of the things that I know as you have went through your last 5 years plus your own practice, but also just working in practices, I know that you have really had a passion for sustainability within orthodontic practices. And I think you can talk a little bit about this. You've really got, I'll say, I think you've become a national voice for us really thinking about what is happening within our practices. And I'm going to bet, especially as you became a business owner, you start to just truly see all the ins and outs of what's happening and what waste we may have in our offices and how we're handling just all the things that are going in and out of our office. And I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit, because I love this, that not only did you have a passion for how you started your practice, but now you've got this additional practice and just how you've brought a recycling program in and are making, and I know your initiative is Tiny Changes, but if you can just talk to us about that, because I think this is such an important thing that goes right along with when you're thinking about your vision and what you're going to do as a business owner, and truly the impact that you can have not only on patient lives, but maybe on our environment and just the small changes that you can make that can have big impacts.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm very excited to talk about this because I've never talked about this publicly before. I told this story about how this started. So yeah, I'm not like an activist type person. I never really have been. Just in the last, my late recent adulthood, just become more conscious of how much waste we all produce, especially plastic waste, and especially now orthodontists and dentists. So I guess this kind of started at my old practice. We would get these stacks of branded plastic bags, and every single patient would get a plastic bag. Every cleaning, every time we gave out a retainer, every time we gave out a liner, it's plastic bag, plastic bag. And I would cringe. I'd be like, oh, every time we got a stack of them. So I was like, when we decided to start our own practice, I told Heather, I was like, we are not going to give out any plastic bags.
Yep.
I've been involved with MESO, the Middle Atlantic Society of Orthodontists, basically since I graduated. I was their representative to the council and new and younger members to the AO. Then I was on the board. And then in 2022, like in MESO, your tenure on the board culminates with you being president. So when I was president of MESO in 2022, I started their sustainability committee with a few others. And we did this initiative called Say No to Plastic Bags. So we advertised it within MESO. If an office took this pledge not to give out any plastic bags, we would send them 50 paper bags for free, and we put their name on our website. And we had about 88, I think we had like almost 90 offices sign up for this, which was really encouraging. I was like, well, these people care, like, yay. So around that same time, I was actually at my eye doctor's office and I saw they had a box and it said recycle your used contact lenses here and packaging. And I was like, wait, like what? And so I asked my eye doctor, I was like, you can recycle contact lenses that have been in your eye? And he was like, yes, they're plastic. And Bausch and Lomb has this program where they put these boxes in eye doctors' offices and you can recycle all the packaging because I use daily disposable lenses. Again, I would cringe every time I opened one. I would be like, I feel bad,
Yes.
sorry, because it's plastic and metal. But I had no idea that the contact lens was actually plastic. But anyway, so I was like, can I take some pictures of this box? So I took pictures of the box and I saw that a company called TerraCycle was the company that was doing the recycling. So I looked them up and I went to my Invisalign rep and I was like, hey, like this company is recycling used contact lenses. If they're doing that, can you recycle used aligners? And he said, actually, Invisalign has a pilot program with TerraCycle right now. And we're beta testing it and you can be a part of it. And I was like, yay, great, I'll be a part of it. They sent us a little bin and we started collecting aligners to recycle. And I went to him and I was like, why is this why has this been in beta testing for 6 years? They had it in beta testing for 6 years. And he was like, I don't really know. So he put me in touch with someone higher up at Invisalign and I talked to him for a while. He was one of the people who started the program. And he was like, I agree with you. I think we should try to, like, at least let us do it in Meso. Like, we have these 90 offices. I know they would want to do this. Let's do it. So after lots of months of pestering him and him pestering whoever was above him, he came back.
We just want to recycle. We just
right.
Want to
I was like, let us recycle. He was basically, no, Invisalign's decided not to continue this program. It's just not financially feasible for us. Okay. So I was disappointed after that. But that program, because Invisalign was funding it, you could only recycle their aligners and their retainers and their bags. So no other brand. And I was like, you know what? This is probably a good thing. This really should come from an orthodontic organization. And then we could try to get a recycling box that could recycle any brand, because Bausch and Lomb's program with TerraCycle, you can recycle any brand of contact lens. It's not just Bausch and Lomb, but they fund it.
Yeah.
I asked our trustee, Meso's trustee, I wanted to try to get the AAO to do this. What should I do? And he was like, you need to join the Council on Orthodontic Practice and start a subcommittee, and then you need to write a motion, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it just so happened that Meso had an opportunity, like there was an opening on that council. So I went onto that council. I'm still on it. It's called COOP, the Council on Orthodontic Practice. This was like 2 years ago. Started the Sustainability Committee on COOP, and we wrote a motion and we submitted it to the Board of Trustees, and we proceeded to spend a year and a half researching, negotiating with TerraCycle, and trying to convince the AAO to take this on as a program. Ultimately, they decided not to. And I could see the writing on the wall in the last 6 months. So I started talking to the Meso board again. And I was like, hey, I don't think this is going to happen at the AAO level, but I think we could do it at Meso level. And all I needed was $20,000 to get the prototype for the box. And I was like, if you can give me $20,000, I'm pretty confident I can raise more so that we can order 250. I wanted to, because I was like, you know what, sure, we could pilot this in Meso, but let's just go straight and do it for the whole country.
Yeah.
This has gone on too long.
Right.
Too long. So in January of this year, the Meso board voted and they approved it. And at that point, I had everything ready to go. I was like about to sign on the dotted line with TerraCycle. I had done all the logo and the branding and everything. And so we really hustled because I wanted to have everything done by the AAO so we could announce this on Earth Day and then take it to the AAO and really try to market it around. So we did it, and we sold out of the first 250 boxes within weeks. And it's taken months for us to get 200 more, but we just got the 200 more in, and those are already almost all accounted for. We have 50 left. So
it's
been really popular. It's really been a very up and down process, but it got to the point where I was like, I have not come this far just to come this far. Some kind of crazy things to keep it going, such as TerraCycle told us in the 11th hour that they had changed around some departments and were not able to ship the boxes for us. So I had 250 boxes shipped to my office, and my office team and I shipped all of the boxes.
Oh, ourselves.
Wow. But we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a long story, but it's been super exciting and gratifying and also eye-opening in a lot of ways. And disheartening in some ways. But I'm just really excited to see where it goes. And there's some exciting things that we have in the works now. Yeah.
I think that is super exciting. And I'm just wondering, like, when you look ahead, okay, we know we've got our next round of boxes here, and I'm sure the goal I would think would be we want to sustain. Oh, let's see it. Oh, I love that. We want a tiny changes box. Anybody who's listening, go to the YouTube channel and you will see it on the YouTube, on our YouTube channel. That looks amazing. That
Yeah.
box really does look
Thank
amazing.
you. I can show you the sides if you want, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I can tell you what it can
Yeah.
accept and whatnot.
Yeah, I would love for you to talk about that because I'm assuming your goal is let's have a tiny changes box in every office.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that be? I look at this in I personally, single use plastic to me is a real pet peeve of mine. And I'm not an activist either, but oh my gosh, if I could change one thing, is just really being more mindful of our single use plastics. And I think every practice is going to aligners, and all of our new practices are starting off with aligners. And I think, wow, if we can just make it's these little tiny impacts, changing lives and changing our environment one aligner at a time, even if that's what it comes down to. I really love this. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about the program right now, what you guys can accept. How does that work? What happens when the box fills up, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, I just want to do one short aside. So, when I was researching all of this, I came across this book called The Sustainable Dentist, which was actually in part written by an orthodontist. But anyway, I read it and it's a really great book. Actually, the AAO library has it. If anyone wants to borrow it, I had them buy it because it's hard to find. But they talk a lot about corporate social responsibility, or CSR, which a lot of like corporations have taken on. And that's basically like how a company, it's a philosophy that a company adapts to try to be
Mm-hmm.
more mindful of the planet and of the community and their impact on both. So I think that if corporations are doing this, then it's a no-brainer that orthodontic practices
Absolutely.
should be doing this as
Mm-hmm.
well. It should be incorporated into practices mission statements and orthodontic organizations mission statements. Sustainability goes beyond doing things for the planet. It goes towards doing things for the community too, and the
Yeah.
betterment of the people who work for us and the people who we treat
Mm-hmm.
and giving back. And I know that there are some really great companies and foundations that do this, but I think it's just getting like the average practice just to, even if it's something really small, like giving in some way.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm totally with you with the single-use plastics. That is, to me, like a very big reason why I did this, because there's a lot of things that practices have to use or utilize to be OSHA compliant. And we're not here to tell you to not be OSHA compliant. There are certain
Right.
things that you don't need to do and still be OSHA compliant. Our our something else that I'm excited about is that we have an Instagram account, and we do this thing called Tiny Tips Tuesday, which my assistants came up with that name, not me, so I'll credit them. But every Tuesday we post like a reel about something you can do in your office to be more sustainable.
Oh,
And a
I
lot of
love
it is like
that.
substituting single use for not, or you can check it out. I have a very great college intern who does all my social media for me because, again, this is an effort of, this is a passion project and not a company. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
yes, check that out. There's so many things any office can do like tomorrow to just be more mindful of this, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to overhaul your office to be more sustainable. So anyway, the way the program works is that you go to the MASO website, maso.org. You click on the tiny changes icon, and if it's your first time getting a box, then it says sign the pledge here, and you click on it, you put in your information, and we'll send you this box for free. These boxes are 3 feet tall by 1 foot, and they're really pretty. On the front, it says all the items that it can accept. And this new generation of boxes can accept all brands of new and used aligners in their bag. So we just tell our patients, when you're done with your aligner, put it in its bag, put it back in the box, bring back your box next visit, and we just dump them in, or the patient dumps them in
Great.
themselves. This generation of boxes can accept 3D printed resin models and
Hmm.
3D printed resin aligners and 3D printed expanders. Not metal though. Any clear retainer material. It accepts sterilization pouches. So, like, we go through about 1 million of these a day.
Yes.
It accepts prophy angles. empty toothpaste tubes, floss containers, air water syringe tips, high vacuum suction tips, used toothbrushes, movements wrappers, remote monitoring sleeves, anything that's plastic. And actually Invisalign now, the iTero, there's new iTero sleeves that they've come out with that are not floppy, they're plastic, and those can go in too. However, it's better if you give the scanner sleeve to your patient, have them put it in the glove compartment of their car and bring it back, so we reuse them. But anyway, so basically anything that's not bloody and is not glass and is not metal, and also this box can't accept gloves, but basically anything else plastic in your office, like used tubes of whatever, that can go in. So when it's all full, so this box is pretty big. It holds 1,000 aligners. Wow. So it's going to take the average practice like anywhere from 3 to 6 months to fill it up. And it's full. You tape it up, and there's a self-paid label, and UPS picks it up and it sends it back to TerraCycle. And TerraCycle accepts it. Our recycling facility that they use for our plastic is in Aurora, Illinois. They invited me to come and see it. I have not yet, but maybe one day. I did go to the TerraCycle headquarters in Trenton, New Jersey, and it was amazing. We can talk about that later if you want. But anyway, it gets reduced into its primary parts, like they shred it and turn it into like pellets, and then they use it for various things. Shipping pallets, playgrounds, benches.
Great.
Like feet, like turf, like you name it, they use it. So again, it's not a true recycling loop. It's downcycled or upcycled or whatever you want to call it. It sure is better than having the aligner end up in the ocean or in a landfill. And some people are like, oh, like my patients aren't going to do it. And okay, if your patient brings back 2 of their aligners, that's 2 aligners that aren't in a coral reef somewhere. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. But most patients do. It takes the assistant like literally 3 seconds to explain what to do to them when they're giving them their initial aligner set, and patients do it. And we've collected a lot over the last few years. So
that's super exciting. And then does the box, so when their box gets sent out, how does a new one come back to them?
So basically the people at TerraCycle, whenever I'm like, can you recycle this? Can we add this? Can we add that? They're like, this recycling is pretty easy. Like it's easy to recycle this kind of plastic for them. It's just expensive. So that's my mantra. Recycling is easy, but it's expensive. So this box costs us $200.
Okay.
So they're expensive. And our biggest struggle is finances with this, because it's really been a priority to me to keep the first box for offices free. Like I want them to do it. I want them to try it. But it's also important to keep it going. So it's not a subscription. When you're done with your box, you go back to the Mesa website and there's another button that says additional boxes here. So what we're using our sponsorship money for is, again, for that first box to be free, and then also to offset the cost of subsequent boxes. So subsequent boxes are $99. So after your first one, each box is $99, which I feel like $99 every quarter or every 6 months for an orthodontic office shouldn't be anything. But when people ask about it, I still say, if your office needs financial assistance, please let us know, because I don't want that to be a deterrent for people. If you cannot cover it for whatever reason, just email us at tinygreenchanges@gmail.com and we will give you a box. It's fine. But we want this program to keep going, and getting sponsorship money has been the biggest challenge, I think, since it started, and it will continue to be a big challenge. So we need to offset that somehow. And also this is everybody's responsibility.
Right.
It's aligner companies and orthodontic supply companies' responsibility, and they should sponsor us. But it's also, we benefit from using aligners ourselves. So we need to have some skin in the game, and our patients benefit. So they should have some responsibility to bring things back if they can. And plus everybody's doing a small part. So that's the thought.
And now a word from the sponsors who make this podcast possible. Are you thinking about opening an orthodontic practice? I know, it's a big decision, but saving 25% on the ADEC equipment you need to get started, that's an easy one. Because ADEC has a special program called Smart Start, designed to help you launch your first practice. You get up to 25% off your ADEC orthodontic equipment and furniture. You also get complimentary services to help you run and grow your business. And my favorite part, access to the Smart Start pricing for 2 whole years after you open your doors. That gives you flexibility to add more chairs as your cash flow grows. It's pretty smart. As an orthodontist, you care about getting all the little details right, and ADEC really got it right with this program. So if starting off with a big savings on ADEC equipment sounds good to you, the ADEC Smart Start is definitely worth a closer look. Just follow the link in the show notes to learn more. Hey docs, let's talk about Smile Suite, because it's not just another scheduling system. It's a game changer in the world of new patient management. And as a proud Smile Suite partner, I've witnessed the incredible impact it has on practices of all sizes. Smile Suite means your new patient calls and web leads are expertly handled 7 days a week, even during nights and weekends. And they offer top-notch customizable presentation software and seamless post-consultation follow-up. It's like having a secret weapon for your practice's success. Curious? Dive into the revolution at getsmilesuite.com. And don't forget to mention Hey Docs to unlock some extra goodies. Elevate your practice with Smile Suite, because every smile deserves a suite of excellence. To me, it seems like that's a small cost in the grand scheme of things. And honestly, we all know as business owners, it all ends up on our P&L somewhere. It's a business write-off on where we were going to put that. But I just think, as you've said, just the feel good of knowing we're doing something good for our community. We're doing something good for our planet if we want to look at that on a big global level. But these are just the things as we continue to move forward, I think, with our digital platforms, and we are doing more and more, I would say, especially with a lot of our startups, we're easily 50-50 with aligners and some type of a fixed bracket. Gosh, why not be able to take this little tiny step to recycle? So I think this is just such a great thing that you have done. And I really appreciate that you saw a need. And I think it is a need, and it will continue to get bigger as aligners become more and more prevalent within our industry. And gosh, what an easy solution for us to.
Yeah, it's great. And I'm grateful to TerraCycle that they've developed this.
Yeah.
And that they're able to do this and that they exist for us. It's really great. And I will also say that it's a great marketing tool for practices. In patient, I can't tell you how many times like a parent or a patient is, thank you for recycling these. We're glad you recycle them. We have patients who come in and they bring their old toothbrushes and just drop them in. We have this in our clinic, like in our bay, and people are always looking at it. We treat some dentist kids and they're always like, we want one of those for our office, which brings me to my next point that we were probably going to hopefully go there. But we've had a lot of offices like post on their own social media about this and really get their teams excited about it. My team, we mentioned these things once and they just run with it. They just.
Yeah. And I think I do want to talk about what your vision or what your hope for the future is when we think about sustainability within our profession. But also, it just triggered me to think, what a cool thing if you're trying to forge those relationships with your dental referrals and whatnot. What a cool way to be like, hey, we're going to sponsor your recycling program, or we're going to do this for you and then let them take it on. Yeah, exactly. Like what a cool thing that we can do. And I am sure there's a lot of offices that'd be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Of course we would jump on this bandwagon, because it isn't just in the orthodontic field. It's on the dental side as well. Though I know the initiative is coming out of the ortho side. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take away from your answer. I'll circle back around to what you're hoping that the future looks like when we think about sustainability.
Yeah, from a higher level, it's just like creating more awareness in this space. We need to acknowledge that this is an issue. We need to acknowledge that we do things in our profession that contribute to this problem of growing plastic waste, which we all know is really bad from a lot of standpoints. Creating the plastic uses fossil fuels. It creates carbon emissions, greenhouse gases. Then the plastics are discarded, and there's a whole lot of information coming out about microplastics and things and polluting our waterways and food sources. And there's like lots of things, and we are contributing to that. Like we did the math on how many pounds of plastic is estimated to have been caused by aligners from Invisalign alone. It's in the literally 20 million pounds.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot. Just having not only like the individuals embrace this, but also the constituent groups and the larger dental organizations have some sort of stand, and not just a stand, but something concrete that people can do, like a program. But that's from the higher level. From the lower level, it's I just want, my hope, of course, is to have all offices have this box. It's a no-brainer. There's tons of stuff from your office you could put in here. But it's also just, even if you do one thing a year or change one thing about your office, like change from plastic air water syringe tips to autoclavable, or stop using plastic tray covers, or stop using the headrest covers and use capside wipes. Like, if it's one thing and you do one thing and that person does one thing and that person does one thing, like, it makes a difference. And it's easy to like just put your head in the sand and wait for someone else to do it, or wait for an aligner company to provide you with X, or say, this is so much, I just can't even deal with it. But that's not true. You can do something small, and that something small together can create something bigger. That's my hope for all of this. And in terms of tiny changes, we're working right now on getting 100 boxes for Canada, because Canada, each country has their own governing set of rules surrounding recycling. Recycle has a branch in Canada. So that is coming, because we've had a number of Canadian orthodontists be like, when are you doing this in Canada?
Yes, that's
Canada's
great.
coming, and I'm hoping that we get something for general dentists, because we've had a number of general dentists reach out, and actually very recently, before saying okay to the general dentist, because it's a little contentious, like general dentists and aligners. But like, the truth of the matter is they do some, but also there's tons of other stuff you can put in this box that aren't aligners. So I went to the MASO board and we talked about it a bit, and they voted unanimously that it was okay that general dentists participate in this, which I was really excited.
Yes.
They're just such a forward-thinking board and group. And so now, as it stands now, general dentists can participate, but they need to pay full price for the box, which is $200. Since it is
again, such a
one
small
person has done
thing.
it. Some guy, a guy in Texas. So shout out to you. You're the first, but I have been talking to a very large dental organization, not the ADA, just the Facebook group, but they, I think, are going to help me try to get funding for at least to pilot it with 100 boxes for general dentists. And that'll just be a starting point.
I just commend you for what you are doing. And just, I love it that you saw a need and you said, hey, we can do something. And isn't it funny how one thing can lead to another thing? Being in your eye doctor can lead to this really great initiative that it just has, I think, such a big impact on our industry and just the feel good side of our industry, just let alone just thinking I'm helping out our local community. We're helping out just as a whole, just as one less thing, like you said, going into our landfills, one less thing that was ending up in the ocean somewhere or whatnot. Thank you for seeing a need and having a passion and saying, I can make an impact. I can do something. And for not stopping when maybe some of those doors shut in front of you, continuing to just pivot and find a new avenue and pivot and find a new avenue until.
I really appreciate you saying that. And yeah, it's been a difficult process, but one that I just, every time I had to stop, I would talk to someone, whether it was Heather or the people on Coop, and they were just like, no, keep going. Yeah. This is important. This recycling is not fake. We have this resource. We need to put this in front of people. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not stopping at anything. We're just going to, we're just going to do it one way or another, because we can't wait, because waiting.
Yeah, it just means more.
We couldn't do it the way we wanted to, because the other thing is, again, I didn't want an aligner company. Again, now that I don't think an aligner company would have come around and just done it themselves, but I didn't want them to, because then if an aligner company is doing it, they're only doing it for their own product. And that doesn't really help everyone, because now there are people who use all sorts of things.
Yep.
I think even though it was hard, like, it's worked out in a way where now I basically have control over how things go and can do it in the way that our original vision was. It's actually worked out.
Well,
I wish I had more time to spend on it, but maybe
one
day.
Yeah, exactly. I know we could keep talking about this, but we're going to have to wrap it up here. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for seeing this need and not only sharing your story and from how you and your partner got together and did, your startup to ortho, but then what led you to this. I just think it's just such a great story. So if somebody wants to learn more about Tiny Changes recycling program, or maybe wants to donate or wants a box of their own. I know you talked about it a little bit, but what's going to be the best way that they can find out more about Tiny Changes, and or maybe if somebody's just, I want to just pick her brain a little bit about early airway and orthopedo combinations and all of that. If you could give us what would be the best way to get a hold of you and or to find out more about Tiny Changes.
Sure. So again, you would go to the MASO website, so maso.org, and then there's a bar on the top that says Tiny Changes Recycling Program. You click there. On that page, first of all, we just made a commercial, which kind of visually can display some information about the program. But then you scroll down and you can click the tabs depending on whether you need your first box or subsequent box. If you keep going down, there are some other tabs on the left. One is FAQs and instructions. So TerraCycle actually wrote that for us, and that has some information about like how they recycle, about the company, and about what to do. And then there's another tab that says become a sponsor. And most of our bigger sponsors are orthodontic supply companies and aligner companies. However, we do have a number of orthodontic offices who have become small sponsors. So we have a whole range of sponsorship opportunities.
I love that.
Starting at $250 up to $15,000. And so if you sponsor us, you get your logo on our next generation of boxes, you get your logo on our website. And so anyone can be a sponsor if they want to. And then there's also, it says, see who's taken the pledge, and that's a list of all the offices that have signed up so far. I think as of now, we have about 370 offices who are doing it throughout the US, and that number is growing every day. And then down further, you have like links to our social media. Again, it'd be really awesome if people could follow us on Instagram. Our goal for that is just to have like other information about other ways you can be sustainable. And the young people in my office and my intern help me make it not boring. And that's basically it. If you want to email us, the Tiny Changes email is checked by myself and answered by myself. You're welcome to email me about the practice too. Our email address is tinygreenchanges@gmail.com. And that email address is also on our website somewhere.
Great.
So just email me there. It's me who's answering, even though it says it's from Tiny Changes. It's just,
yeah. Oh, I love it. This has been just such a treat having you on. And thank you for all that you're doing and have done pushing this initiative forward. And I really do think this is going to make a big impact on our industry going forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about it. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the ways I like to finish up Hey Docs is I like to finish this up with a little speed round. So if you are ready to jump into the speed round challenge, I'm going to ask you just a few questions and then we're going to sign off for the day. Sound good?
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. What is one business trend you think most people should be paying attention to?
I think that a business trend people should be paying attention to, aside from sustainability, obviously, is the referral source of social media, especially in our area, the Facebook Moms group. I think that is the largest source of referrals for us.
Yes.
I think it's people, especially parents, they want an organic referral and not an ad usually, or a flyer or a mailer. They want to hear it from a mom or a dad who doesn't work at your practice, from like a neutral source. And so I can't tell you how many patients we've gotten from Facebook Moms groups. So I think it's just being aware of that and trying to cultivate that again in an organic way. So we don't go on there, but our hygienist sometimes will shout us out on there, respond to something. And then we look and see what parents have said something about us. And then every like holidays, we get them a gift and they're like, thank you for continuing to support us in various ways.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. Maddie, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on Hey Docs. And I know we could just keep talking, and I'm going to have you back on again and we're going to talk even more. But thank you so much for spending the afternoon with me and just for all of the great knowledge that you gave us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill. I really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Until next time.
Bye.